Hey, what's up guys? Greetings from the sunny and humid climes of southern Thailand, and today's topic is age gap when older foreigners, older expats are dating younger Vietnamese women. I find it an interesting topic, not only because it concerns Vietnam, but also it concerns other Southeast Asian countries. But before I go into today's topic, you might ask yourself, hey, this guy is sitting there in Thailand. Why is he talking about the Philippines all the time and Vietnam and other countries? Yeah, that's true. I'm currently in Thailand. I'm stationed here, I'm based here, but I'm not dating at the moment. Yeah, this is on purpose. I'm not actually in the mood to date anybody at the moment. And I'm happy with that, you know. Nothing wrong with that. And I have dating experience with a Thai woman, that's true. I might do a video in the future about this, but I don't think it's urgent right now. But I want to talk about my Vietnamese dating experience because I can share, I think, some valuable insights. Age gap. Yeah, one thing I want to mention first is that, like I mentioned already before, Vietnam, Thailand and the Philippines. So you will not see older expats, let's say in their 60s or 70s, walking around in Vietnam with like 20-year-old girls. You will not see that, but you see that a lot in the Philippines and in Thailand, right? You see very old, sometimes very unattractive men, I must say, with very attractive young women, very young women, right? And it's really puzzling, and many of the people also they are confused and asking themselves, why is that? You know, where's the attraction there? And this is again a topic for a different video, because there's much to say, and it is debatable also, and it is controversial, you know, because there are many different opinions about this. I will not go into this one here today, why younger women date older men. In general, that's the case in any culture, it seems to be, but in Southeast Asian countries you have these extremes, right? Where really old guys, let's say, date very, very young women. From my estimation and experience, not from my own personal experience, but what I hear from other expats, which I talked to and also read about, who shared their experience, and also from comments from previous videos, I know that in Vietnam the age gap between an older foreigner and a younger Vietnamese woman is normally, it can be between 10 and 15 years. That's very common, and this also reflects my results when I was on these, at the time, Vietnamese dating sites, for example. That at the time I was 45 years old, so last year, I'm talking last year, 2022, that women who were in their early 30s, mid 30s, late 30s, but also women who were my age approached me, and they were interested to get to know me, but barely any woman in their 20s. I can confirm this. So I would say rule of thumb is, in Vietnam, if there's an age gap of more than 20 years, you can basically, it's gonna be very, very difficult. I'm not saying it's impossible, but you know, there's also a great community of expats who actually lived in Vietnam, dated in Vietnam, and they say the same thing. They say in general, of course there might be exceptions, but in general it is just more difficult to hook up with younger women, depending on your age, of course, yeah. There are other guys who say the complete opposite. I know this is debatable, but you know, everybody has its own experience, and we just can take this experience and then draw some conclusions. What about my own experience? So last year I dated, when I stayed in Vietnam for a few months, I dated 3 different women. The first one was 26 years old, the second one was 28 years old, and the third one was 36 years old. You can see already that basically the first woman I met was 26 and I was 45, so that was a difference of 19 years, and the second one was 28. You can do the math. So these women were basically at least 9 to 10 years younger than me. That was not an issue at all. And all these 3 women I met on the dating site, that's correct, even though I now evaluate and think differently about dating sites. But what can I say about my experience? Age did not really seem to be an issue, at least not with the first girl, with the 26-year-old. But it turned out she had a baby already. She had a son, I think he was 10 years old at the time, 8 or 10 years old. So that's a different dynamic, you know. She is a single mom, and like in many Southeast Asian countries, single moms have a very difficult stand, you know. They are not attractive to local men any longer, let alone to their family, to the family of the man, yeah. Again, that's a very interesting and fascinating topic in itself. Why, for example, let's say if so many Filipinas and Thai women are interested in foreigners. Yeah, when you ask them, I'm detouring here a little bit, but this is again worth another video, because they will tell you, yeah, I like foreigners because they are more mature. There is certainly a kernel of truth to that, like in anything, but I think these women they are not even conscious of their own motivations, their own, I'm talking about the fundamental subconscious, unconscious motivations. Yeah. Actually, we all are not aware really of our unconscious motivations. It's like you go shopping, right? And you think you know why you purchased this item or the other one, but in reality, your unconscious mind was determining why you bought that product. And I know there are all these kind of customer service and market research things are being done, but there are plenty of studies out there which prove that actually it's all bollocks. Yeah, we don't know what we think, we don't know why we buy things. You know, it's very interesting, it's very fascinating. So therefore, I also claim, and I know that also the women, when they are being asked, why are you dating a foreigner? You know, they say, yeah, more mature, yeah, but that's not the whole story, because they are not even aware of their own unconscious motivations, which are mostly economically. But anyway, yeah, in my case, 26 years, 28 and 36, the first woman had a child already, the second one not. And the third woman of 36 years old also, I think, had 2 kids already. And yeah, that's all I can say. Money was really never an issue. We never talked about money. This is also just my experience. You can read other expats' comments or posts where when they date Vietnamese women, that they will ask on their first date already, what is your salary, what is your job, what do you earn? So these kind of things never happened really to me. So I don't really know why they were interested in me. We never really talked about it, but I also must say these 3 dates, they were just in the beginning stage. So there was not really something developing seriously out of it, you know. But I just want to share with you that it's possible to date younger women, and younger women are, women in their 20s are definitely interested to date guys in their 40s, because it happened to me. This one girl, the 28-year-old one, she told me that because I think I asked her also, is that not an issue that you date a 45-year-old? She said, you know, as long as you are not the same age as my father or older, then it's no issue. And her dad was like 60 years old. He was a doctor, I remember. Of course, it depends on the woman also. You know, every woman has different preferences, like we all do have our own personal preferences, right? And but I think many Vietnamese women are really open, and as long as you are not just at the same age like her dad, then everything is okay. Every woman has their own, like I say, their own preferences, and I don't know what's important to them. But in general, for a Vietnamese woman, why do they date? Why are they dating older guys? It's the same story, like basically with any other woman around the globe. Yeah, you have these dynamics at play, the psychology, and then when you look at the different cultures, you know, women are basically the same, like men also. And then you look at the Philippines or Thailand or Vietnam, then there's just this cultural layer put on top, which makes things a little bit different. But definitely, Vietnamese women are looking for financial stability, yeah, and yeah, you need to be a provider. You need to be able to provide. And many Vietnamese women, they date to marry and to have children and to start their own family. So they're looking, when they date a guy, they're not looking so much, you know, how handsome you are, or I don't know, these kind of things, or how funny you are, although maybe these things are also, they play a certain role. But Vietnamese women are very practical, you know, that has to do with their culture. They're very, very practical women, like other Southeast Asian women for that matter. So, you know, and they want a provider, they want somebody who is financially stable, who is mature, and somebody who can also advance, who has the ability to advance economically. Yeah, this is very, very important to them, because they want family, they want kids. If you cannot provide, then you are basically a loser, and they don't want to have anything to do with losers. Also, what I think why Vietnamese women are open to date older foreigners, or why you have greater chances also to date younger Vietnamese women, is that Vietnamese women consider older men or older foreigners as more settled, emotionally settled, but also logistically. With emotionally more settled, I mean that the chance that this guy will just hop around and meet other girls and date around are less likely, right? Let's say a guy in his 40s or 50s, he is also looking for a stable long-term relationship. This is what we can assume. And he is also logistically more settled, but because he don't want to move places so much anymore. If he is aiming for dating a Vietnamese woman which leads to marriage, then he already made up his mind basically to stay in Vietnam long time. The same with the Philippines. Many expats, especially many American men, they move to the Philippines permanently, not to just shop around and leave after 3 or 6 months. No, they want to stay there permanently. So I think this is what the Vietnamese women also know. Yeah, the older men are more settled also. Yeah, and they will not jump any other second for another girl. And there is also a difference between the cities, especially the big cities, and the province. This is also my experience. I've actually 2 of the girls I dated actually, yeah, they came from the province, you can say, but not really deep province. You know, when we talk Vietnamese province, then it's really, really province, far away from the big city. 2 of my dates were from Da Nang in Vietnam, and the other one was in Nha Trang. Yeah. But I can confirm this, that women who are from the province in Vietnam, they are growing up and living with different economics, in a different economic environment also. Yeah, the life is much more difficult there, and these women are way more desperate to get married. I think also the family pressure is much higher than compared to girls in Saigon or Hanoi, in these big cities where also the girls, the women, are more educated, and also the English level is higher, you know. They are, let's say, more westernized already a little bit. And so if you really want to date a young, let's say you are 45 years old and you want to date a 25-year-old Vietnamese woman, then I think the chances are greatest if you look in the province, right? Because these girls, they want to get out of there, they are desperate. But of course, with that being said, there are other challenges related to this issue. I will not go into this here. And it's of course questionable what kind of motivation this woman really has with you. So, but it's definitely possible. If you want to date a more mature, settled woman, then you have to look for a Vietnamese woman in their 30s, you know. But most of these women have kids already. They have either been divorced or are widowed or are separated from their husbands or partners. So I don't know if you want to go along with that. Again, it comes back to your own personal preferences. And but the moral of the story is, yeah, go out, go there and try it out for yourself. Make your own experiences. Date Vietnamese women. Go to the big cities. Yeah, move to the smaller cities. I remember last year when I made my video, when I released my video dating Asian or dating Vietnamese women, there was a guy who asked me in the comment section, you know, Marcel, I'm 70 years old, and what are my chances to date younger Vietnamese women? So yeah, you have different folks, different men who are still asking these questions. But I think I told them that it's going to be very, very difficult. Yeah. But this is also what other experts will tell you. And I also have to, how to say, I have to, and I want to join this consensus here that in general it is more harder, more difficult in Vietnam to, if your preference is really a younger girl in her 20s, it's going to be more difficult in Vietnam than, let's say, in the Philippines and in Thailand. Again, it comes back to questionable motivations in these countries. And actually, on the other side, it makes much more sense, and it seems to be that the Vietnamese women they seem to be more reasonable and sensible when it comes to, because it's just it's normal and logically that you actually do not have such a great age gap on one hand, you know. But if your preference is really a younger woman, depending what kind of age you are in, then yeah, that's your preference. But you know, I'm from Germany, and in my country, you basically, when you are 46 years old, you're not dating 26-year-old girls. The 26-year-old woman, or 25 or 27, they're not interested in men in their 40s. Forget it. They want to date. Dating in Germany, dating in Europe is like you date within an age range of plus minus 5 years. Yeah, I can hook up with a woman which is 46 or 45 or 40 or maybe even 35. Okay, but that's it. And so there are different dynamics at play. But this also makes it so unattractive for men to stay in Europe or in America or in Australia, because you know they don't wanna deal with these women, and they have their own preferences. Again, long story short, my experience, I've dated girls in their 20s. I didn't need to show off. This is also what I want to tell you. Even Vietnamese women are very practical, and yes, they are looking for financial security and stability in a man, like any other woman actually unconsciously does. And I think the financials are important for these women. But you do not need to impress them in general. Of course, there are gold diggers and there are other women who, play games, but or there are certainly Vietnamese women where you can purchase love and attachment and everything. But in general, the Vietnamese are practical, And if you can just be a provider, you're financially stable. If it turns out you are a very presentable man also with manners, and you have a stable job and you are mature and you can also integrate into the Vietnamese family, you know, then I think you have great chances to hook up, to date, and eventually also even get married to a younger Vietnamese woman. So with that being said, I'm checking out for today. I'm looking forward to your comments, and I'm gonna see you next week again with a new video. Take care, bye bye.